Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. So today we're tackling a massive digital dilemma, one that practically all of us face on a daily basis. We are going to dive into the truly fascinating psychology behind our digital communication habits. Specifically, we're looking at why you might find yourself constantly gravitating toward text messages over phone calls. It's a topic that brings up a lot of strong opinions, but we're going to put all that aside and look strictly at what psychological research actually tells us about the structure of your mind. Let's get right into it. I want you to picture this. You're just chilling, or maybe you're super focused, deep in the zone, working on something, and boom, your phone lights up, it starts ringing. Have you ever just watched it ring? You literally just stare at the screen, waiting patiently for the ringing to stop so the call drops to voicemail. And then, almost instantly, you send a text back asking, "Hey, what's up?" If you're nodding your head right now, trust me, you are absolutely not alone. Now, society loves to attach some incredibly heavy baggage to that exact behavior, right? People frequently assume that if you hate talking on the phone, well, you must be anxious. Society is super quick to throw around harsh labels, calling this behavior avoidant or antisocial. They might even make you feel like you're kind of broken, telling you to just pick up the phone because apparently it's supposedly easier. It sets up this immense, heavy guilt for simply ignoring a call. But today, we are completely debunking that whole narrative. Part 1. Synchronous versus asynchronous communication. To really understand why those societal labels are completely wrong, we've got to look at the science. Constantly preferring to text over calling doesn't mean you lack confidence, and it definitely doesn't make you a bad friend. In fact, psychology suggests that avoiding phone calls can actually point to advanced cognitive strength. So let's explore the mechanics here. A live phone call is what we call synchronous communication. It demands an instant reaction. When you pick up that phone, you are forced to react in real time, which creates this immense, immediate pressure to respond. Plus, it triggers a literal startle response that can completely wreck your deep focus. Texting, on the other hand, is asynchronous. Highly analytical people naturally gravitate toward this because it completely removes that synchronous pressure. It gives you the necessary space for cognitive filtering, offering you the crucial time to actually process information before you interact. Part 2. The power of pausing. To really grasp why your brain absolutely thrives in that asynchronous space, we need to look at how the brains of highly intelligent people actually handle reactions. It turns out it's completely different from the norm. Psychology shows that people with higher cognitive ability practice something called cognitive control. Basically, this is the superpower of not responding instantly to everything. It is the natural instinct to hit pause before speaking or acting. It's an incredibly empowering mechanism. Instead of letting emotional impulses just snatch the wheel the second a question is asked, the thinking part of your brain steps up and overrides those impulses. You, not the caller, are in control of the pace. And that brings us to a crucial related concept, cognitive inhibition. Think of this as the act of creating a necessary mental gap between an emotion and an action. When a phone call forces a real-time, on-the-spot response, it completely strips this gap away. But texting brilliantly provides this exact required mental space. It gives you the buffer you desperately need between feeling something and reacting to it. Internally, texting triggers this really powerful three-step mental workflow. Step 1, you pause. Step 2, you observe the information. And step 3, you respond deliberately. See, you aren't avoiding the person on the other end of the line at all. You are simply claiming the mental space your brain requires to shift fully into reasoning mode. You are actively choosing to process rather than just reacting fast and blindly. Part 3. Processing complex thoughts. Beyond just controlling our reactions, we have to look at the depth of the thoughts themselves. Highly analytical minds process information so much faster, and importantly, in way more complex layers than a normal on-the-fly conversation actually allows for. I mean, think about it. When you try to speak your mind instantly on a live call, your ideas often feel way too complex to explain quickly. So what happens? Your points get watered down. They get simplified, they get ignored, or even worse, completely misunderstood. Texting acts as a protective tool against all of that. It allows you to actually organize those layered thoughts. You can edit, rewrite, and ensure your exact words perfectly match your precise intentions. Highly intelligent people often struggle to feel truly understood, so writing simply becomes a safe haven for precision. Part 4. Avoiding small talk fatigue. Now, right alongside that need for precision is the very real issue of social endurance. Let's talk about the intense social energy drain that highly active minds experience during routine, slow, and totally predictable conversations. Have you ever hung up the phone and felt just entirely depleted, even though the call itself was totally fine? Highly intelligent individuals think differently, and they typically do not enjoy small talk because, frankly, it completely lacks meaning. Phone calls almost always require a certain level of forced pleasantries. For a brain that craves complexity and challenge to stay engaged, this kind of shallow social interaction doesn't energize them. It literally causes mental fatigue. And texting is honestly the perfect antidote to that fatigue. It acts like a subconscious shield, allowing you to bypass all that meaningless filler conversation entirely. You can just get straight to the depth of the topic. By doing this, you're protecting your mental energy and effectively filtering out all the exhausting social noise. You are optimizing your communication for substance over pleasantries, which is a real game changer.
Part 5. Curing the overthinking habit.
There's another massive psychological benefit to texting, and it has to do with the aftermath of a conversation. We really need to address the painful psychological habit of overthinking and mentally replaying interactions hours or even days later. People with highly active minds naturally scan their past interactions for mistakes. And phone calls, they leave a massive amount of room for uncertainty. You sit there wondering, did I sound weird? Was my tone off? Did I say too much? You can't rewind a phone call to check. Text messages, however, provide a completely clear, written record. You don't have to guess or endlessly replay the conversation because the facts are right there in black and white. It totally eliminates that lingering tone anxiety. Ultimately, what a written text provides is absolute closure. An analytical mind naturally tries to predict and analyze every single social interaction, and it absolutely hates unfinished answers. Having the definitive, written words right there on your screen puts a hard stop to that mental looping. It is, for sure, the ultimate closure. Part 6. The Psychological Reality. So as we begin wrapping up this explainer, let's pull all of this together. This psychological reality completely validates why so many of us prefer a keyboard to a microphone. It is not a flaw, it's literally a feature of how your brain operates. Let's lock in the 3 core takeaways of the asynchronous advantage. Number 1, cognitive filtering. Texting gives you the vital time to process information and craft precise, layered responses. Number 2, emotional buffering. It allows you to maintain control over the interaction, shielding you from the immediate drain of social cues and small talk. And number 3, mental clarity. You get to avoid the disruptive startle response of a ringing phone and keep your deep, precious focus totally intact. All of this reframes our habits perfectly into one simple, undeniable truth. You are wired for clarity, not instant reaction. If you constantly find yourself letting the phone ring and texting back, I really want you to remember this. Your mind simply prefers a mode of communication that allows for deep thought, precise words, and emotional control. It's not a weakness at all. It is a profound cognitive advantage. So, I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought. The next time your phone lights up, the startle response kicks in, and you feel that familiar instinct to let it go to voicemail so you can send a text instead, how will you handle it? Will you finally drop the societal guilt and proudly claim the mental space your intelligent mind deserves? Think about it. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and remember to keep honoring how your brain works best.